I just helped this player, and this player completely transform their defense in Madden 26 by simply implementing the 5 secret tricks I'm about to share with you in this video. Whether you're struggling to get stops on defense or simply need a glitch blitz to sack the quarterback in a hurry, I've got you more than covered, so you're absolutely not going to miss out on any of these tips because I'm about to blow your mind. Let's jump right into it. The first thing I'm about to show you is 2 unbeatable glitch blitzes when you actually pair them together. Let me show you. Alright, so really what I mean by it when you pair them together is you're going to come to your auto pass protection, where they're going to have auto pass protection, and they're going to start on base because that's what a lot of people think that is the best pass protection. They can use it against every single defense in the game. That's not true, because if you come in a nickel 3-3 single mug, and you come into any play really from single mug, but you call the Texas 4-man custom stunt, you spread your defensive line by pressing D-pad to the left, and then left stick up, and then you press RB, and then right stick up to pass commit. What you're going to notice is they're going to get absolutely destroyed when they use base protection. One of those two edge rushers are going to come looping around the edge every single time against base protection. One of them will very often be looping through and sacking the quarterback because it's going to be hard for the center to actually pick the guy up because you're also distracting him with your user defender. So we take a look at the instant replay right here. We look at this center. You see how he's looking at my user, and so I occupy him, which really allows for one of those 2 edge guys to come in free. So again, stand directly right here over the center, get the attention of him, and then you're able to see that time both of those guys come in free. So as you're able to see, base protection is going to really struggle against the Texas 4-man custom stunt from single mug specifically. Also nickel wide, it's pretty good. Dime normal is pretty good, but this stunt is going to destroy base protection. Also, even if they block their running back, you see how that time 2 guys came in free. Running back can only pick up one of them. Also, running backs also just get destroyed at the point of attack, really, when they're blocking. So that's not really going to be an answer for them. What is an answer, though, is if they use empty protection. That's going to be a whole lot better for them against this stunt, is using empty protection. So if you're playing against this stunt, right, empty protection is going to be pretty good for you. It's going to be a whole lot better. Not to say, that time you see they're in empty protection, it doesn't work for them. He still comes in free. So that's why I'm saying on defense, you use this stunt until they actually block it. I'm just telling you that normally empty protection does a lot better job. Right here, you see how that's really just not the case. The running back even steps up. That's why I say running back blocking isn't really an answer to blocking stunts and blocking blitzes in general, because there's sometimes where they just don't even see guys that they really should be recognizing. But we go to empty protection again right here, and boom, we're just going to see how, that time again, just no answer. So, it's kind of like, wow, this stunt is amazing. It beats every single pass protector type, which, yes, it's really good. There are other counters. They can start using pass protection, but the simplest answer really is using empty protection. Unfortunate for us that, they're still just shedding us or walking in the backfield very quickly versus empty protection. But the reason why I say it's 2 is because I have another blitz that's even better against empty protection. So when they start to use empty protection to block your stunt, right, from single mode, that's when you come in and nickel 3-3 odd, and you're going to call linebacker cross 3 show 2. So now they're going to switch to empty protection. They think that's going to be their answer here. Well, the way we're going to set this up is we're going to shift our linebackers to the right. We're going to pass commit our defense, all right? And so you can shade the whole coverage down, right? It doesn't really matter what you do. But now you're just going to notice how they're just going to let that man come in free time and time again, because there's going to be a flame icon over the top of his head, which really to the offensive line signals, hey, this is the guy that we want to let come in free. So again, you're going to shift your linebackers to the right. You're going to pass commit your defense, and you're going to, if they showed you their play art, if you knew what their play art looked like, you're just going to see how there's going to be a flame icon over the top of that guy, and they're just going to let him come in free through the A gap. And so then you just have to really focus on using over the middle of the field, right? And so you're just able to see it again. Boom, we look at the replay. They go to double team. They know they're going to let this man come in free, and so that's what they do. 5-on-5, but yet we're able to get a man to come in free because we're taking advantage of their empty protection. Now, this blitz isn't going to be that great against base protection, So that's why I say you want to start with the one that beats base protection, which is the stunt. That beats base like every time. And then if you're noticing they're blocking that blitz, then the next thing for you to do would just be to switch to this one probably, because you would assume they're going to be in empty protection, and you're just going to notice how a guy's just going to come in free right through that A gap time and time again. And again, blocking their running back, as I've told you many times, isn't really going to be an answer for this, because we're going to do it right here. Empty protection, block the running back. Right, and so you're just going to notice how the flame icon's still over the top of that guy, which really means the offensive line still wants to let him come in free, and you see how the running back never sees the guy again. So that's why I say blocking the running back, not exactly an answer to blocking these blitzes, but those are two glitch blitzes that you need to pair together here from single bug and from 3-3 odd to annihilate base and then to annihilate empty protection. Alright, having glitch blitzes is cool, and being able to get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry is fantastic, but if you're not using the best defensive settings right now, your defense is going to come out misaligned, or you could be playing with trash zones. Let me show you the best settings you need to make sure you're using right now. Alright, so when we come to our coaching adjustments, by pressing the right stick on Xbox, the R3 on PlayStation, what you're going to notice is these first three settings, they're all alignment-based settings. Auto flip defensive play call, make sure that your slot corner comes out on the correct side of the slot receiver. There's a lot of discourse and a lot of players don't actually understand what this does, but if you turn this off, now you have the ability to flip your play, which is going to be fantastic for you. But if you guess wrong, like right here, I guess wrong. My slot corner is not on the right side of the slot receiver. You see how this is my slot corner, and number 14, Chris Godwin, is their slot receiver. So not being on the correct side of the slot receiver can really have damaging effects to your defense, simply because now these guys, like I have a linebacker essentially matched up on Chris Godwin, right? So if you run man coverage, that's going to be a problem. If you run zone coverage, that could mess up your whole defense, right? You're also giving up a wide open seam over the strong side of the field, right? So it really just makes no sense. You don't want to play with auto flip off unless you're using a specific blitz and you know that this blitz only works when you have auto flip off. That's really the only time I would turn it off, but for the most part, I would just have it on. Cornerback matchups, make sure that these are unbalanced. This is going to help your defense come out aligned correctly instead of having it on by speed or by overall. Your defense isn't going to crisscross when you have it unbalanced. Defensive motion response, same thing. Alignment, you don't want your zone defenders following according to offensive motion. You don't want that to happen. So just turn this on disabled, especially if you're running zone coverage. Scroll down now, RPO pass key. Making sure we have this on conservative, this is going to help your RPO defenders be able to defend the run, or defend the RPO a little bit better, defend the pass aspect of the RPO while you loop around and shoot the gap with your user, right? Curl flats on 5, safety depth on close, safety width on pinch. Again, what this is going to do, it's going to make sure that your zones are playing in the correct spots, because pretty much every defense you run, you want to make sure that you have guys defending the short flat. You don't want to make the game easy for the offense. And so if we call cover 3 sky, for example, we have curl flats on 5, we have curl flats on both sides of the field now, well, you're just going to notice how there's just going to be a man dropping right there at 5 yards to be able to knock that pass away. So simply putting your curl flats at 5, calling cover 3 is a pretty good answer to be able to stop underneath passes. But also, if we were to call like cover 2, leaving those cloud flats, those blue zones on default is going to be pretty useful for you as well, because they're just going to be able to drop to a pretty good spot and take away routes as well. You see how he's dropping right there to defend that red zone scissor route exactly to the spot that we kind of want him to. So really making sure that you have default 5 default is the best way to help your zones just play a little bit better. If you want to adjust your hook zones, I don't really have a problem with that, depending on how they're playing. Maybe 5, maybe 10. Those are normally the best to use. And then obviously safety depth on close, safety width on pinch. Really, that's the case because if we come into a cover 2 base play, we don't want to just give up the seam. Right, we don't want to give up the seam, so we just take it away very easily because our hooks are dropping that far back, but then also our safety is that close to the line of scrimmage. So essentially, there's no space for them to throw those passes right at the seam. If they try to wait on this, right, they can't wait. So there's nothing they can do. They can't wait on it. They can't wait on this over here. So really having your safeties closer to the line of scrimmage makes it a whole lot harder for them to just look up the seam because your hooks are dropping to the right spot, and then you have your safeties closer to the line of scrimmage. Be aware though, if they have fast receivers, to back those close and pinch back up to default. for your safety alignment so that you're not getting ran by really fast receivers. But those are a complete breakdown of the best defensive settings and coaching adjustments you need to be using right now. Alright, so if you found those first two defensive tricks helpful here in Madden 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content I have. But if you want this entire video in written form for you to save on your phone during gameplay, and you want premium access to ask me any question you want at any time in Discord, go to the link down below in the pinned comment or comment the word Vault. I'll send you the link to join Madden University. Your first month's only going to be $1, and you get access to all the benefits I just mentioned. What are you thinking? Join today, and let's jump right back into the video. As you've seen on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok, halfback direct snap is taking over the community, and if you don't find your way to stop it right now, you're going to be lost online. Luckily for you, I know exactly how to shut it down, so let me show you. Alright, so there's really two ways that I like to stop direct snap. One of them is going to be from 4-3 even 6-1, calling Samuel blitz, standing directly next to your defensive end. I've talked about that in some YouTube shorts, but actually my favorite way to do it is going to be just coming into Mike blitz 0 from nickel through 3 cub, and we're going to be using the gap shoot technique. No surprise here. We're just going to shift our defensive line to the left right here. You just really have to find a good spot to stand. Really, it takes practice. Normally, I like to just stand about right here in between the guard and the center right here, and then you're just trying to meet the ball carrier through a gap, right? So you're just going to loop through, and then I'm just going to be able to loop right through and cut his legs out. And the most important thing, what makes this play so dangerous is, especially in like MUT or franchise mode, you can speed boost. Every single player now has the ability to speed boost because they're so good, they're so fast, they're so agile. And halfback direct snap makes that move so good because they're able to get downhill way faster, get to the second level of the defense. But because you're gap shooting and dive tackling them, and now you're going to be set up for success on defense to be able to stop this play. Because what you see is now when I shift my defensive line, right, and I use this man right here, I shift my D-line, I'm able to just run through this gap. You see how this guard is trying to block me? Like, he comes around, but he's just too slow. If I were to not dive, he actually would have blocked me before I could tackle Swift. But because I'm diving, I'm pressing X on Xbox, square on PlayStation, I'm just going to be able to get this suction tackle to cut out the legs of the ball carrier and tackle him before he lost 2 yards on this play. When do you see direct snap? Like, direct snap is supposed to be the play that can never lose yards as an offense, right? It's supposed to be just your play that is super safe, right? You go to this in every 4th and short situation, but when you have the gap shoot, you make it really easy to stop. So again, you're going to shift your defensive line toward the running back. So if they had the play flipped, I would shift him to the left. Here, he's on the right side, so I'm just going to shift him right. Stand, find a good spot, right? I would normally just recommend just standing right here where I am, about 4 yards over the line of scrimmage, in between the center and the guard, and then just trying to loop around and meet him right here. Boom, dive tackle. That time you actually see how I miss, but I force him to just run into my other players, right? And that's also why having Heat Seeker Assist turned on with your window set to 100% or higher, it's going to help you out a lot. It's going to help you get those suction tackles, right? It's going to make sure that the game doesn't just make you miss, kind of like it did right there. It's going to help you do that. But right here, again, cut out the legs of the ball carrier, and we're able to really contain that. Luckily, you do want to be able to get this ball carrier down before he has the chance to get away. So maybe I would move a little bit over to, just so that I'm not late to the party. Right here, I'm not going to be late. I'm just going to be able to cut his legs out. So that's why I say find your spot, find one that works for you, because once you get a good spot as far as where you're standing before the line of scrimmage, you just make it super easy to cut out the legs of the ball carrier, bring this guy down. So again, quick recap, shift the D-line from Mike blitz 0 through 3 cub, right, stand in the right spot, 4 yards over the, you could just stand 4 yards over the guard like I am right here, loop through this gap, but the key is making sure you're diving as soon as possible. As soon as you find the gap, you see as soon as I get to this gap right here, I dive, because I want to dive tackle him, prevent him from being able to speed boost away from me and turning into a bigger game. So that's really how I go about stopping direct snap, something that you're going to have to master here. in Madden 26. Right, before I jump to those final 2 defensive tips that you're absolutely not going to miss out on, again, I want to remind you, go down below, hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one right now breaking down Madden 26 tips and tricks that you're absolutely not going to miss out on. So what do you think? Go down below, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump to those final 2 defensive tips. That next one being stopping underneath passes. You have to make the game hard for the offense, and throwing drags and table routes is simply too easy. Let me show you the best way to stop those underneath passes here in Madden 26. Alright, and so I kind of hinted at this earlier when I was talking about the best defensive settings, but when you put your curl flats on 5 yards and call any cover 3 defense that has curl flats on the field, you're honestly like cover 3 cloud, right, or cover 3 sky. You just make it a whole lot easier to be able to defend the underneath. So boom, you're just going to see how a guy's already sitting at 5 yards. Just like, it's that simple. It's putting those 5-yard zone drops on the field to be able to stop underneath passes, right? And so really the best way to do that is, again, you could do that in your zone drops. You could also, you know, put your custom zone your guys down. So you could press Y twice, then press X, custom zone this guy down so that he's basically standing at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you could custom zone anyone. So even if you accidentally had your curl flats to 15 yards, once you get to the line of scrimmage, you can just move those guys down. But having your guys at 5 yards, having your guys at 0 yards, whatever it is, that's going to stop the underneath passes, right? You see how he's right there to make that tackle. You see how in the last play, we're right there to make that play, right? So that's really how you just have to stop those flat routes. Now, there's other routes like drag routes. They can get open in the middle of the field. So you can throw a drag right here before he even gets the flat and then turn it into a big gain. And maybe that's probably what you're having trouble with. Is it isn't necessarily the guys breaking to the flat. It's just that you can just throw it too early. And that's where I would encourage you guys to make sure not user a defensive lineman, user a linebacker. Because now I can just have hard flats in the field, or I can just put my hard flats in the field, and now I can user this, and then I pass it off. So by the time they go to throw it, he's already running out there to a guy who's in a flat. So the most important thing is just having a good user over the middle of the field to stop this, and then you just pass the route off to your flat. So you see how, okay, I take this away here, they can't throw it. By the time they can throw it now, he's already here. So there's really nowhere for them to go with the ball. Same thing on this side where if they had a flat on the field right here, this man is just dropping right to the spot. So that's really the answer to stopping those underneath passes. Also, I hear this all the time, and I keep getting beat with quick slants. So boom, take the snap, they just throw a quick slant. Well, that's pretty tight coverage, right? That is tight coverage. Also something that you can do if you want to run zone coverage. You can put soft squats in the field, and they're going to do a much better job of like cheating inside and bumping inside and basically running the route for the guy. You see how he basically stopped that slant, and so he's basically going to chase that route though. Like he's going to run with that route all the way across the field, I believe, right? So again, left stick. So we put him in the soft squat. He's going to guard this slant. You see how he basically runs like a good portion, like maybe not all the way across the field because we're in zone coverage, but they can't just instant throw quick slants when you have soft squats in the field. So again, boom, soft squat, quick slant right here. You're just going to see how he's going to run that route for that guy, and he's really sitting on that to make that an easy play. Also, something else that you can do is you can user that. Your user defender has the ability to stop every single pass that you're getting beat with. So again, quick slant right here. I'm right here in this window. Take it away. So it's really not that hard to be able to stop a lot of these routes. Anything that's giving you trouble, guys, you can just take the guy that you're using and guard it yourself. So, like, if you're giving up drags, you're giving up outs, you're giving up slants, you're giving up posts, take your user defender and take it away. But there are other ways to use your zones to be able to stop those underneath passes, like soft squats, like hard flats, like custom zones, like zone drops. There's so many ways to stop underneath passes, but those are just a few of my favorite ways. And something else that everyone struggles with, including myself sometimes, is how can we stop 5 wide or empty formations? Not enough people run them, but when they do, it's really hard to stop. Let me show you exactly how I like to slow down 5 wide here in Madden 26. Alright, so 5 wide. The defense I always like using is Mike Blitz 0 here from 3-3 Cub. Or really anything really from 3-3 Cub, just because we pose a huge problem for them. Because essentially you can very easily overload blitzing. If you just shift your defensive line to the left and you drop this man out to give you some additional support. I mean, you could also run zone coverage from this too, right? So you could put this safety in inside third, you could put that safety in an outside third, right? You could put that corner in a vert. So you can create a cover 3, you know, very easily from this. And then you could also probably just put, you know, an outside third. Then you could leave this seam in. So you could run cover 3 from this same look. But essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to just overload blitz them. So you're just going to see it how if we just take the snap, immediately press D-pad to the right, we simply have more guys lined up over their players. So we're just going to be able to come in the backfield immediately. Now, there was a guy open on that play, which is why I would probably just recommend you just run man coverage and you kind of just bite the bullet and really hope that your guys can play man coverage for long enough if you're going to run this defense, right? This blitz. I mean, you have to understand that you're not sitting in coverage, so like, you're going to have to run man coverage if you want to be able to defend. Like, there's so much space, so many areas that they can attack when you run zone coverage against empty, which is why, you know, for the most part, it's like, you probably just want to press these guys, get up here, press them, and kind of play around with this. So again, boom, take the snap, immediately press the D-pad to the right, and so you're able to get that quick pressure. You're kind of still relying on guys to play man coverage. So if you're going to be running man, again, shift the D line, drop this man out. You probably want to route commit. So you want to route commit all of these guys. You want to shade everyone inside, and then you want to route commit outside. Or you want to shade everyone outside, and then route commit all of these guys inside. Because now, when they see that you're shaded outside, they're going to try to call a bunch of in-breaking routes. And so you're route committing inside, so you're just basically going to run the routes for these guys. So again, same thing, stand about 2 yards over the left shoulder of the center here. Take the snap, immediately press D-pad to the right, and so then we're just going to be able to come in free, and I'm back over the middle of the field very quickly to be able to defend a lot of their routes. So it's like, you just have to be able to cover for long enough. That's the hint. That's really what it is, right? You just cover for long enough, you get a guy to just come in free right through the A-gap, and you're going to be able to sack the quarterback simply because you're overloading one side of their offensive line and making it impossible for them to be able to, you know, block. Also, you can run zone defense. That's certainly an answer for you. So you could come into cover 4 show 2, right? If you're going to be running zone, I would really only recommend cover 4. That's what makes empty so tough. If you run cover 2, they have a guy wide open the sideline. If you run cover 3, they probably have a guy wide open up the seam. So it's like you're kind of lost when you run zone coverage for empty against empty unless you're going to be running cover 4. But you just have to have a miraculously good switch stick. Like, you have to be everywhere with your user. That's kind of the thing, because you're also in cover 4, so there's not a lot of guys over the middle of the field. I would also send 3 a lot against empty, though. I'm either going to blitz or send 3 probably, because I do want to have some additional zones over the middle of the field, like this Van Ginkel guy to be able to take away that crosser and switch stick onto. Sending 3 can be a little bit risky here. If you want to, you can blitz your user because that'll make sure that they can actually shed, but then understand that you have to switch stick with the D-pad instead of the right stick if you're going to be switch sticking. So you could call something like this, lurk, D-pad, switch stick, you blitz, and then we're able to get pressure on the quarterback late. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Send 3, send 4, blitz, run man coverage. You kind of just have to play around with it, but that's just a few things I like to do and a few nuances that I like to use against empty formations. All right, so if you enjoyed those 5 defensive tips here in Madden 26 and you found them helpful, again, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down Madden 26 defense tips every single day, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content I have. But again, if you want to join Madden University, comment the word VOLT or click the link down below in the pinned comment. You're going to get your first month for only $1 of all my written breakdowns and premium access to me in Discord. It's really a no-brainer and the best way to get better right now in Madden 26. But if you want to see 5 tips to make your offense 10 times better here in Madden 26, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.